This is Gateway City Sports.
Smith corks one into right down the line. It may go. Go crazy, folks. Go crazy. There's the drive. Way back. It might be. It could be. Yeah! Playing a high drive into left. Back goes to Craig. He's at the track. He has it. And the Cardinals are world champion for 2011.
A little bouncer slowly toward Bryant. He will glove it, throw to Rizzo. It's in time, and the Chicago Cubs win the World Series.
This is the Team of Rivals podcast. No insiders, no anonymous sources, just passionate analysis from the bleacher seats. Here are your hosts, Ron Nuttall and Peter Geddes.
Good evening, Cubs and Cardinals fans, to the Team of Rivals podcast, proud members of the Gateway City Sports Network, where you can find great podcast and blog content. It's Thursday, March 9th, and we're going old school this week, and not just any old school, but we're going super old school because with the permanent occasional guest host on the sidelines, Ron brought back all the old logos. He brought back the old intro. Here we are. Team of Rivals podcast, like it used to be. Feels good, doesn't it? Follow us on social media at Team of Rivals podcast. I'm sorry, not at Team of Rivals podcast, at Team of Rivals pod. Or find us online at teamofrivalspodcast.com. For those of you who prefer to watch the show, we also post like this on YouTube, Facebook, and Rumble. So hit the like and subscribe buttons and be sure that notifications are on so that you know anytime we post new content. As I said, permanent occasional guest host, not here tonight, but here with me, and you can tell because we're streaming live, and he's the only person who remembers how to do it, even though it drives him nuts. Number 104 in the 2021 edition of the Top Cards on Twitter. I completely lost where you were on 2022, but anyway, doesn't matter. He's Patrick Mahomes, my good friend and yours, from Charlotte, Ron Nuttall.
You went really old school at Team of Rivals podcast.
I know.
You don't normally do that. What's going on with your picture? You look like
I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out as we're going. Yeah, I've got
that was funny.
I've got a pretty piss poor connection.
I was trying to Slimer. That's the ghost off of Ghostbusters, right? No, you went really old school on that, and finding the old. Here's the thing, like I'm a little bit of a hoarder digitally. At least I've got an external hard drive. I've thrown pretty much anything and everything we've ever done, including logos and shit that I've tinkered around with, a bunch of embarrassing audio stuff I would never want out there for the public to consume. It's, our first 7 or 8 episodes were especially bad. Some of them are okay, like bits and pieces, but I'd have to make a super cut of that to even make a listenable show, I think. But yeah, I forgot how much I like the old intro music, man. I know it's part of our new thing, but it's kind of a nod to the end, of our new intro, and I forgot the old logo too. Kind of like it, man. I don't know. Maybe we should just keep Elliott at arm's distance for a while and bring this sucker back. It was a pretty cool concept. You had me on the left there, screaming with the arch in my background, the red sky, and I got you with the the old Sears Tower there, downtown Chicago. Blue sky. Screaming even more. You look angrier than I did. You were angry on the outset. You just came off a World Series win too when we started this, so I never understood that.
No, but you gave me a concept. You said, I need you yelling.
You did too. So you ran with it.
And so I yelled.
Mm-hmm. Hey, but you know what? Not much can bring me down today.
And why is that, sir?
Well, yesterday I became the father of not a boy, but a man. So
you had another kid?
No. You may have forgotten, but no, my oldest turned 18 yesterday.
I remembered.
I know.
I'm just, it's.
I know. Well, I have 4. You never know when I'm going to, surprise somebody else, right? So no, my oldest turned 18 yesterday, which was special enough, right? Now, the bad news is he was actually sick at home. He didn't go to school because he has a pretty terrible cold. Allergies and stuff hit him especially hard because he deals with a little bit of asthma and things, but you know what, so do other kids. But so 18th birthday, a little bit of a bummer for him. He couldn't really go to school and be around any of his friends or anything, but he did get notice from University of Illinois that he was accepted there, and not only accepted there, but he got an academic scholarship. He has a perfect GPA of 4.0. He maintained that through his whole, high school, his 4 years of high school there in Clinton, Illinois. And he got a academic scholarship, accepted. We're going to visit that campus. I'll be leaving and going there a week from tonight. Actually, I'll be flying to Central Illinois, and we'll take a look at this campus in Springfield. So pretty cool, pretty special day.
Can you even hear that?
I can hear that. I'm just wondering what's going on with your max headroom camera. Audio is fine. We'll just run with that. Anyway, I wanted to break out with that news. I couldn't be more proud of him. He's, he took school a hell of a lot more serious than I did, and he did well enough to get himself into school and have a portion of it paid for. So that's good.
Well, and Ron, proud you should be, because whether or not you took school seriously, you at least embedded in him the belief that he should. So
yeah,
well done, Dad. You get to take a little credit on this one too.
Of course. I'm gonna switch over to my camera until we get Pete resolved here. He's coming in. It's actually a cool visual if you're on mushrooms, but if you're not and you're just trying to listen to a little bit of baseball chatter tonight, might be a little bit distracting. I'll let him sort that out and I'll just stay on here. Pete, I think your audio is fine, unless we lost that too.
I haven't said anything.
Okay.
Interesting. My upload just jumped, so maybe it's a little better.
Maybe it's resolved. Anyway. Cool. Well, I've my wife is out on a work trip, so I got to come back into my old workspace, way more comfortable, much better setup. So I'm relaxed tonight. I didn't mind doing it live. I didn't have to set up a bunch of bullshit like I do when I'm outside. So this is great. She should probably take a business trip every Thursday.
You know what? That sounds like a great plan. Do you want to broach that subject with her, or should I?
I'm going to call her boss.
She's a huge,
I think I'll just call her boss.
Huge fan of mine, so I could bring it up.
I think I'll just get a hold of her boss. Hey, let's find something for her to do every Thursday. We'll send her off. But no, she's been out. So
9:30 Eastern time.
That's right. Great to be not only kind of doing an original show tonight, with old logo, old music and everything, but I also get to be in my old place we used to do it in. So this is great. Yeah. It's excellent. What a day. What a day this has been, as busy as it has been. I know the World Baseball Classic just kicked off. I'm not sure who cares. I followed a little bit of it, and by a little bit of it, I mean whatever people decided to post about it highlight-wise on Twitter. I don't know, Pete, obviously, we've had a WBC as we've been doing this show at least once, if not twice. I'm not really sure we got into it all that much, or is it every 4 years or every 2? Fuck, might be every 3. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not.
Okay, really sure. We don't know. We don't care.
That's right.
So yeah, WBC has kicked off. I think it's a little interesting. There's a lot of, I think it's just fans, but a lot of people talking about, Newt Barr and he's becoming buddies with Ohtani on Team Japan. Oh my gosh, what could this lead to? I'm going to give you my thoughts on it, and it's just going to sound like this. That's it.
Impressive. Most impressive. Yeah, I know it's hard. I don't know about you. It's hard for me to get into it because all I can do is read about it. The games are in the middle of the day, or they're in the morning or whatever. And, I have to work. I have other things I have to do. I can't watch games, and it's not like you can turn them on the radio.
So, hey, you're back.
Yeah. Hey, look at that. See, we just had to get the upload speed. God, that looks really good.
That looks, you look sharper than I do. And I have a pretty good camera set up here.
That's why you got to get a Mac, Ron. If you get a Mac, you can pair it with your iPhone, and then it will use your iPhone's camera, which is better than any webcam. And then you get glorious shots like that. Look at that.
I know.
Look at that.
That's pretty damn good. Handsome Sigmund Freud hosting the show today.
Just because I'm feeling confident and comfortable about our rotation this
Sound like John Mazalek.
I know that was why I kept the bow tie on after I got home, was because I wanted to channel some Mosaic vibes. Because look, if we're going to talk about baseball, let's talk about baseball. Adam Wainwright hasn't looked particularly good his first 2 times out. Now, I know we're not supposed to get worked up about veterans, but his
I think you can in this case. Yeah.
He's supposedly been working on some mechanical issues. That's not what you want from your ace. Is he your ace?
No.
If Adam Wainwright is your ace, are you in trouble?
I don't. I think he's starting this game. I think, was it Saturday, right? I think so. He's starting this as a nod to the veteran.
Okay.
For the WBC team, for Team USA anyway. Is he the Cardinals ace? Absolutely not. I wish I could say he was. It's really up in the air, dude, at this point. You'd have to say that and he doesn't qualify for an ace. If you ask me who the aces are in the league, I'm going to give you about 5 to 10 names.
Yeah.
And the Cardinals don't have any of them, right? But if you had to say who's their number 1 right now, I have to probably say Miles Michaelis, which is pretty.
That's who I was going to throw out
fucking
there.
Scary.
He can't be Jack Flaherty because you just don't know if he's healthy.
He's got to prove he's healthy, right? And if he's got to prove he's healthy, and he's back somewhat to the form that we all got to know and love. I'd love to call him an ace. Love to call Adam an ace, but he's not. We've known that he hasn't been for years. It's worked. Whatever he's done has worked. His adjustments, he's worked with what he has left, and he's figured out how to get some people out, sometimes on the fly. He's not an ace though. Sorry.
And he's going to be climbing over a little bit of an obstacle, at least in the early part of the year, because as we enter into Wilson Watch 2023, the newest segment on the Team of Rivals podcast, there was another, I don't know if you saw it, but there was another stat that dropped earlier this week. I think it was, I don't remember which stat group it was, if it was StatCast or whatever, but they dropped an attempt at catcher blocking ratings.
Yeah.
And Tucker Barnhart and Jan Gomes rating significantly better at blocking pitches than Wilson Contreras. And in reading it, somebody made a good point. I think it's legitimate. Not just how good is a catcher at blocking pitches, but also how confident is a pitcher in his catcher's ability to block pitches, and thus really yank a curveball and look to bury it in the dirt, knowing that in going for a strikeout, right? Knowing that his catcher is going to be able to stop it. Whereas, it made me wonder after reading that article, I was like, I wonder how many times a Cubs pitcher didn't fully execute a pitch. And I don't know, it's pure speculation on my part, but how many times did a Cubs pitcher not fully execute a pitch because he was afraid that it was going to get away from Wilson Contreras and it would have the opposite effect of what they were going for?
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know.
It's a good thing to question, right? I also don't know how much credit I should give, especially younger pitchers that are thinking that far ahead or in advance. Right. Does it prevent me from throwing a knockout pitch that I know I have because I'm questionable whether my catchers are going to drop it or not? Now, if there's guys on base, of course, I may be thinking a little bit more along those lines, but I don't know, Pete. Good. I think it's a good thing to wonder about. But I don't know how much credit I give these guys for really thinking about it that way, or like I've got to throw the pitch that I know I can, and I've got to put some trust or faith or get the job done back there, no matter who you have back there. I don't know. I don't know if you got a really good defensive catcher that just doesn't let anything by him. I could see there is a scenario where pitchers are more confident, even if they don't have their stuff, or that maybe they're lacking a little bit of control, but you got a backstop back there. It's not going to let anything by. So maybe you spin a little bit harder, or you snap it a little bit more because it's going to be blocked. So I mean, I think it's a valid question. I just don't know how much I don't know where it lands in reality. You might be dead on. I don't know. Or
it could be just complete bullshit.
Yeah, it could be complete bullshit.
But I think it's an interesting thing to consider, and I think that there's going to be, especially from the Chicago end of the rivalry, there's going to be a lot of attention paid to catcher defense this year. Far more than I think Cubs fans have paid attention to catcher defense in, I don't I can't think of the last.
You know what?
time
I would argue that St.
Cubs
Louis fans
came.
haven't paid much. More, yes, but they haven't had to.
Right.
You know, when you got him back there, you take a lot of things for granted, and if those little things that we took for granted don't end up happening, they're likely to get noticed. Like when did pass balls start to become a problem? Like we haven't experienced that for 18 or 19 years. What the hell? And like, yeah, well, he's not as good at blocking balls as Yachty. We just forgot. We just forgot how good he was because he's been doing it for so goddamn long. Yeah, that'd be an interesting sideshow. I will admit that.
So, talked about Waino.
Yeah.
Talked about Wilson. How about we talk about the Cubs winning 9 in a row here in spring training? I mean, obviously, they're going to the World Series.
Of course.
Including beating Team Canada in there.
Mm-hmm. The Freddie Freeman.
I think my prediction earlier tonight is definitely going to come true. Cubs finish 4th.
That part, I wouldn't be surprised. You know, I forget, though, how many names they've added. Like, I know we did the inventory a few weeks ago, right? But I forgot about Eric Hosmer and all of that, too.
That's right. They added prestige value. Forget about what he can contribute at the plate. Just in prestige value alone, that's worth a win.
Yeah, but seriously, though, like, if you had this roster, like, 6 years ago.
Oh.
I mean,
you would definitely be talking about
talking exactly like we were about the Cubs 6 years ago if you had this roster.
You'd be talking about a potential World Series contender.
Yeah.
You would be if these guys,
Mancini, save for
Hosmer,
the pitching staff a little bit, right? But
the pitching staff back then was
a little better,
pretty good.
Yeah. I'm gonna throw that out.
I think there are a lot of question marks when it comes to the Cubs pitching staff, but for Cubs fans, it's we're in an unusual position right now because
I think you are in a fun position that you don't even know how much fun this year is going to be. You heard me say this before, like, dude. Watching this collection of misfit toys put together on a roster for this year, I'm telling you, man, you are going to enjoy it.
Yes. No, I'm not denying that. What I'm talking about as far as the interesting position, though, is that the Cubs have a lot of intriguing pitching prospects who look like they're going to contribute. That has never, in my 49 years on this earth, been the Cubs' strong suit.
Jesus
when the Cubs
Christ,
have had
you're
good
49?
pitching, it's generally been because they've signed guys or traded for guys.
Yeah.
It's been very rare that the Cubs have actually had more than maybe one homegrown pitcher who contributed to the team. And you could conceivably fill out their bullpen with guys who came up through their system.
That would be a first.
They're not going to, but they could.
Yeah, that would be a first that I could remember too. So I'm right there with you. And I'm only, 18 months, 19 months behind you. So I'm not that far. Typically what we would see is they're signing a guy that's, sought after. Maybe a few teams are battling one of the top tier pitchers and or they're trading for somebody, or I'm just trying to go through this. Like the last time I remember them bringing up homegrown, a good swath of homegrown talent was in the early 2000s when they brought, the time of Kerry Wood and Mark Pryor and I forgot the Abraham Lincoln dude, Matt, what was his name? Clement.
But they traded for him.
Oh, they did from Florida, right? He was with Florida before.
That's right.
Shit. I forgot about that. You're right.
Before that, I think he was with the Padres, if I remember correctly.
Matt Clement looked like he was with everybody. He just looks like a 2000 player, and it's easy to forget what uniforms that the guy wore.
That's right.
Yeah. But the last time I can remember them bringing up a crop, like a healthy crop of pitchers.
Right.
Yeah. So it has been a while. That was 20 years ago. Man, 20 years ago, Pete, that the Cubs made that run, the Bartman year.
20 years ago. Actually, it's 20 years ago this year.
Yeah.
Wow.
What the hell? We've had kids then. There's been 5 humans born between the two of us since then. There's been a Mr. Master's degree
is
MBA
it 5
here.
Or 6? It's 6.
How's it 6?
When was Braden born?
2005.
6.
Okay, who is the
no,
6th?
you've got 4.
Jesus Christ.
I lose track all the time, man.
So do you have something to break here? Is there breaking news?
No, definitely not, man.
All right.
Definitely no breaking news. I think that ship has not only sailed, but it has docked and been transferred to dry dock on the other side of the ocean.
That's right. Hey, and so there's been 5 humans born between the two of us.
2 divorces, 1 remarriage.
Yeah, let's keep going. Like you've been more stable in your career. I've had a few jobs now. They're starting to add up a little bit.
Well, let's see. Since 2003, if we consider the beginning of that year. Oh yeah. Okay. So 1, 2, 3. 4.
Hold on. Should I take this? This is my wife calling. She has no idea, and we record at the same fucking time every week. I wonder if she's drunk. All right.
Do you want me to answer?
Sure.
Hey, baby, what's up?
Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, hang on 1 second. She's not going to like this.
Sure she is.
Wasn't connected at first.
Oh, no.
It is now, I think.
Are you there?
Hang on.
Me earlier today.
Hi, we're here.
Hi.
What's up, girl?
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Who's
we
that?
can hear you. You don't recognize me?
Are we
John
doing a little
Mozeliak.
podcast? Are we doing
Yeah.
a little podcast?
Yeah, because you called during the recording time every week, same time.
Oh my gosh. Hi guys. Oh my gosh. Guess who I saw today?
Who'd you see?
So I'm in Palm Beach.
Yeah?
And so I saw
Did you go to Mar-a-Lago?
Kim
Excuse
Kardashian?
me? No, there were this older couple, and they had full-on St. Louis Cardinals gear because they were down here for spring training, and the Cardinals won today.
I thought you were going to say they had full-on Team of Rivals podcast gear.
No, St. Louis Cardinals.
I should send her with like buttons. They still have
You
those
should.
like buttons,
They
and she
were-
can just put them on
They
They
people.
were
She knows.
they were so cute. Like they had their full the husband had like his jersey red, and then the wife had her St. Louis Cardinals. They had their hat. She had matching shoes, and
Oh, wow,
said
they
it was
were all
so
out.
good. The Cardinals won. Yeah. So, anyways, I felt close to home.
All right. She sent
thought
me a picture of Trump's plane too on an airport tarmac.
I also sent him a picture of Mar-a-Lago.
Did you go in and find any classified documents?
I didn't, but I was at.
They were floating in the water just outside
Did
of
you
it.
drop some off?
No, I was at dinner tonight, and the people I was at dinner with said that China is responsible for the fentanyl problem in the United States of America, that they're secretly drugging us to take advantage of us.
Oh, it's not a secret.
Obviously, if I'm talking about it at dinner, it's not a secret, but yeah.
We're talking about it on a recording too, so
Yep.
About how
keep that.
China's
About
drugging us.
baseball.
That potential sponsorship wasn't a Chinese-owned company, was it?
Like, are
Maybe
you
we should ask
serious?
about that.
That's how they're gonna take over America, is by slowly drugging all of the dumb asses in the United States of America.
Well, that's going to take them at least 50 years to get through all of us because there's a lot
Because
of
I'm
us.
not trying fentanyl anytime soon, and as long as I'm around, we're not going anywhere.
I don't know.
Whatever.
That you know of, you're not trying it.
No,
I was going to say, should I read the label carefully on this bottle of Lubanzi or not?
Probably.
Yeah. What's fentanyl taste like? Can we get that information quickly? Okay. Yeah. So you called in. We're recording. We're actually pumping it out live right now. You probably don't want to be on here as I'm taking it. I'll guess I'll call you when we're done. Oh,
She hung up.
Jeez, no.
As soon as you said we're
disconnected.
live, she hung up.
it disconnected from
What?
the board, and she's still talking. I heard her just faintly out of the phone speaker. Did you hear a word I just said?
yes, I heard you, and I'm not listening. I'm telling you, I'm swaying like I'm still on the boat. Like, it's ridiculous.
You've been on the boat all day. Okay.
I feel like I'm still on the boat, and I'm not on the boat.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah. It's called
Like, the Dramamine
legs,
finally
drunk ass.
stopped working.
it's either called sea legs or boozed up or both. Probably a combination of both is what I would guess, which is
No,
fine. I would have done the same thing.
I was sitting at dinner tonight, and all of a sudden I started swaying. I was like, oh my God. I had one drink.
I've done that on the show a few times.
All right. Well, you guys do your thing.
All right.
Go Cards.
Okay. Talk to you later.
Good talking to you,
Don't do
Boostown.
fentanyl. Don't do fentanyl. The Chinese are shipping it over.
Jesus Christ. Bye.
Love you, bye.
Same time every week.
She may have a future guest hosting appearance slot, just like the show interrupter. Heck, you know what? We could start a new podcast for the two of them, the show interrupter and the Boo Sound.
I don't know what kind of a show that would end up being.
You're right. They would both have to be speaking. They couldn't just jump in at any time.
No, like if that wasn't scripted or coordinated, it would be an absolute train wreck.
That might be entertaining.
I don't even remember what we were talking about. Pitching, Cubs.
We were talking about the Cubs actually being. We were talking about everything that's happened in the last 20 years.
Everything that's happened in the last 20 years.
Since the Cubs made the Pryor Wood run to Game 6.
Yep. Yeah, I remember that was a fun year. You know, we brought it up on here before. Maybe there's some newer listeners that didn't know our kind of take on that, or at least mine as far as baseball goes. You know, most would like what they deem as kind of normal times, where Chicago's back in the 3, 4, 5 comfortably, and the Cardinals are always out in front. And recent history has been the Cardinals Brewers kind of thing, I guess. But the most memorable years were to me like the times I go back and recall, hey, what season did I enjoy the most? When was I most locked in? Every game, couldn't miss. And I got to say, it was around that era. It was around that 2001 to 2000, call it 5, 6. 2003 was a memorable season, even though the Cardinals, they fell short. They didn't make the playoffs. There wasn't a wild card at that point. Well, there was a wild card. There wasn't the second wild card. Yeah. So
it was just the one because
that's right.
Marlins were the wild card that year.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, it's I don't know. I know we went to a few games there. I always ended up falling short, I think, except for one. That was up in Chicago. Right. Yeah.
Wait, was that the year? No, that wasn't the year. No, that wasn't the year.
That wasn't the blind date year. No, that was 2001.
Okay. Was it 2001? Okay.
Yeah, I'll never forget that one.
Of course you won't. I don't think Wrigley Field can forget that one.
I don't think that poor restaurant owner.
Hey, they're still open, so.
They didn't put them out of business that night.
No, we did not put them out of business. Although I tell you, every time that I take somebody new there, the story inevitably comes up.
You see that table over there?
Dustin's here. I'm here. Ron's there.
Puke there.
And so while they're cleaning up, Dustin and I are talking about all the delicious food on the table. Ron's apologizing to the manager, and my ex is downstairs.
For somebody I have absolutely no responsibility over. Yeah. Well, whatever.
Good times.
Good times. You also put a stripe on my car.
I did.
It came out.
It rubbed out.
That's what I ended up. Everybody, rubbing it off is kind of the theme that night.
You drove all the way back to Bloomington that night.
Drove all the way back to Bloomington. Pretty sure. I think my passenger slept the entire way. I think Dustin slept the entire way.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So yeah, a lot has happened. 2003. Geez, I can't believe we're even saying that 20 years ago. That's pretty shocking.
It is. Even more shocking that we've been doing this for 7 years.
Yeah, we have. Gosh, what else in baseball has been really hot? So you mentioned Adam Wainwright. There's looking like there's a little bit of trouble on the horizon there. I'd say also with Jordan Hicks right now. Seen some noise out on Twitter. He's just not good. He's a hype machine with all the hype machine around him. Like, I don't know, guys. He was pretty good that year. He was healthy. He was, for as hard as he threw, though, you would think the strikeout rate would be higher. It wasn't. But he still threw BBs, right? Tommy John surgery, got him like it does many others that throw that hard. With his diabetic condition, he missed the entire 2020 season. He elected not to play for a good reason. And it's been a couple setbacks since then even. So yeah, gosh, feel terrible. But yeah, his ERA is over 13. He's not looked great. So I'm not sure what's in store for him there. But it's looking rough, right? Like, look, I don't think they went into this year counting on Jordan Hicks to be a major piece. They've got Helsley at the back end of that pen, and it sounds like the Cardinals somehow, some way always seem to have that influx of young arms that somehow fills out that bullpen, and most years, knock on wood, doesn't seem to be their main issue, right? And I think, but it certainly puts questions over it, and it puts doubt. So this whole pitching aspect, Pete, usually what I can hang my hat on, at least in recent memory, has been bullpen the bullpen will figure itself out. Sounds lazy, but it has. That's how it's worked. The starting rotations is scary as shit. I don't know if I feel like it's in worse shape than it has been the prior two, or it's just anxiety buildup over the 3-year stretch. But I think it might be in worse shape now than recent memory.
Well, I think that you've got a whole bunch of wild cards, right? Is what's the status of Jack Flaherty? Can Waino stitch it together for another year? Which Miles Michaelis are you going to get this year? I mean, yeah, I can absolutely understand why you may have some trepidation going into this year.
Yeah, quite a bit. So I don't know, man. All we can do is wait and see. It's not like any moves or anything are going to happen right now. I think the Cardinals are done until really the trade gates open. I don't think anything's possible between now and then, especially with the questions still hanging over RSNs, right? And which I thought by now, when we talked last week, that would have occurred, or we would know more, and we don't. It's a bunch of speculation by everybody out there, even those in professional media that are just kind of guessing what's going to happen. Well, is somebody else going to buy out Sinclair is what you're hearing now. And so broadcast will be able to continue. Surprised that many didn't know that Bally Sports is a licensed name. It's not like the Bally, fucking casino company decided to buy a regional sport network and everything. They licensed that name out. I was surprised at how many people actually didn't know that. Listen to me. How many people didn't know that common knowledge? It says Bally Sports on the broadcast. Of course, a lot of people didn't know, but I'm surprised, especially on Cardinals Twitter, I should say, how many people didn't realize that. But I don't know, man. It's a messy situation. I guess the game wasn't broadcast today that was supposed to be. So this could be a signal here that shit's happening, man. It's getting awful. We're less than 3 weeks now, I think, from opening day, right? So I'm not sure, man. Are we going to be able to see opening day or not? Or is it going to be from somebody live streaming off their iPhone? Maybe yours looks pretty good. Your picture does. Maybe you should just go down there.
You think? I could write off the trip as a business expense.
Better than nothing, camera guy. Just Pete. That's what you're going to be called. Just Pete. Right.
Only problem is that let's see, that'll be what, the 30th?
Yeah.
31st? I'll be in DC then.
Oh. So okay. Cardinals don't play the Nats on opening day. Sorry.
Oh, well.
All right.
Is Jordan Walker going to break camp with the Cardinals?
Oh, man. Good one there. Yeah, I want to go to that
on
here.
Fire.
Yeah, he is. He's making it really hard for them. I mean, really, really hard for them. The thing is, no matter how good he's playing right now, they could still come up with a reason that would make sense on paper of why they should keep him there one more year. Had a great spring training, but hasn't. I mean, a lot of these guys haven't been major leaguers. Some have, but a lot of it hasn't, right? So, he didn't spend a ton of time in AAA. They could easily justify keeping him down there, I think. But man, are they making it difficult. Or he is making it difficult on them. So I always wonder if you want to crawl into the mind of a GM when it comes to a situation like this. Go back to Chris Bryant, right? That you're like, can you just have a half-ass spring training, please, to make this decision easier on me so we can keep you for another year, the whole, service time thing. You got to think that on one hand, GMs are like, well, I want to put the best people there. I want them going north. On the other hand, you've got some that are like, yeah, but you know what? It would save me a year of anxiety and this whole looming free agency and all of this bullshit if I just keep them down there for a few weeks. They have to think about it.
And you have to know, I would imagine you have to know your player fairly well. And that was something that was characteristic of Jed and Theo for a while there. during their run with the core. They tried to avoid bringing their hot rookies up during homestands. They tried to put it off so that they were on the road so that there was a little bit less pressure. And you kind of wonder if you have to know who you're bringing up. How is he going to respond, right? Because, okay, great. Jordan Walker is going nuts in spring training right now. When the games don't count and the weather's perfect and the crowds are 100% supportive.
Yeah.
How is it going to be different when he has finally achieved his dream and he's made it to the show, right?
Yeah. It's good.
Is he going to handle it?
I think that I don't know if I go back and look at when, rookies have been called up, like when has it been during an away stand, right? I think if I remember, and this is just memory, man. I don't have anything in front of me. I didn't know you were going to ask this, but if I feel like when they pull up a young person, I don't feel like it's at a homestand. I think it's like somewhere we're going to be in Pittsburgh for 3 days, and we're going to be, in Cincinnati for 3, and then we'll come home to at least get them, a half dozen or 9 road games, some experience being in the big league clubhouse, being around the guys before they head home.
That's been the Cubs' MO.
And I'm pretty sure, if memory serves me correctly, I think St. Louis has done that the most time. The one year you could get away with it would have been COVID, where that crowd wasn't there. And boy, what was it like that year for those rookies that broke in, where you make your debut, nobody's there.
Not even your parents.
You almost have to make your debut twice.
Yeah.
Where the next year there are actually people, and it wasn't a packed house either. It took a while, right? So, yeah, that's going to be that's the most interesting storyline in camp is, what do they do with this guy? All the fans, especially young ones, want to see him come up. But yet it's a conundrum, right? They don't want to see, the weird fan favorite Tyler O'Neill not get a starting position. They don't want to see Dylan Carlson, who everybody talked about, 3 years ago, that was going to be the next Carlos Beltran, the savior of the franchise. And then Lars Nootbaar, who has a cute name. Nobody wants to see him not play either. So the Cardinals fans are kind of, which lamb do you sacrifice here, right? Who's the odd man out if you are so clamoring to see Jordan Walker in the starting lineup? Now, it could backfire on St. Louis. St. Louis has typically been known to, the service time thing hasn't been as much of a thing with them. That could be driven by circumstance. It could be just, that's their MO. They don't MO. I love when I say that. That's their MO though, that, they don't play that particular game. And we've seen it before. Saw it with Jordan Hicks. It could backfire though. You bring the kid up that wasn't quite ready, but had a damn good spring, like a spring that just all kinds of outside pressure, even pressure from ownership, perhaps, that shit, man, everybody's on this train. Maybe we bring him up now. And if it doesn't work, what's it going to do for him being sent back down in June or May? Because, he's not adjusting to major league pitching. All of a sudden you're facing Max Scherzer, not Johnny Cueto. Different game there. So I think, Pete, if you said, hey, throw your mortgage down and bet on this, I bet he starts in AAA.
Well, if you're a Cubs fan, you know this because we've just gotten used to it. The Cubs fan, the expectation is he's going to break camp with the Cardinals and he's going to be the runaway rookie of the year. He's going to hit 35 home runs.
According to Twitter fans? Yes.
Cubs fans, that's what Cubs fans expect, right? That's not what they hope. It's what they expect, is that every Cardinals rookie somehow comes up and is a threat to win the rookie of the year. And this kid looks legit, man. I'm not gonna take anything from him. Everything that I've seen, and obviously I'm not following it as obsessively as people on your side, but everything I've seen, this kid looks like the real deal. And it really sucks because you guys had a really solid draft that year. And God damn it, I hate you.
It's probably that compensation pick, huh?
It probably was.
Speaking of picks, though, you alerted us when this happened that I don't want to break away. Wait, before I go to the next topic, real quick, we'll go ahead because he was gonna interrupt the show anyway. So I did a preemptive strike.
He's gonna talk. Okay.
And so,
Wayne, what do you think about Jordan Walker?
I was having a coughing fit Is it my turn?
It's your turn. Did you hear the question?
Yeah, Jordan Walker. Well, I think the kid has an immense amount of potential. I think he's going to be really good. My only thing is Twitter and all the Cardinal fans will be pushing for him to be up in April, which, I agree with. That's fine. But let's say, he does get called up in April. His first 2 weeks, maybe he's struggling a little bit. And, Twitter's going to have a meltdown. Oh, my God. Oh, we should have traded him for Juan Soto. Oh, my God. Oh, we're all going to have a freak out. And it's like Cardinal fans, some of them have no brain cells and no patience. So I'm just praying that people have the decency to give the kid some time and not expect him to be the second coming of Albert Pujols after he retired. And he's still a prospect. He's still 20 years old.
Yeah.
I'm going to be patient with him.
Yeah, no, social media is one thing, whatever. We know how that'll go. Facebook groups will lose the will to live if he doesn't tear it up, in his first 2 weeks. And, there'll be some Twitter fans making an excuse. I would make an excuse and say the kid's 20 years old. And, he's starting off the year facing not just one guy every week that's really hard. Literally every guy you face is harder than the best guy you faced in AAA, right? Or AA. So I just told Pete before you got on here, B, that if I had to put my money down on it, he probably starts in AAA. Because right now they have an outfield, right? They have an outfield right now, barring injury. I don't see them bringing him up. And Cardinals Twitter will be in flames. It'll be in full, 3-ring shit show mode because they don't bring him up. So I get it, but I think that's where he starts. I feel that's where he starts. But B, while we have you on here, I'm not going to ask you predictions in NL Central or anything. I know you're going to say the Cardinals are going to finish first. Cubs are going to finish third, fourth. Pirates and Reds are going to bring up the rear. I think the Reds are going to bring up the rear this year. I think this is the year of the upset, Pete, in the NL Central standings. Not who wins it, who ends up in the cellar. And I predict the Reds are going to end up in the cellar. It's going to upset the whole apple cart.
I mean, yeah. If I had to lay it out 1 through 5, I would say the Reds would be in last. The Pirates. I think the Cubs are barely going to finish in third behind the Brewers. I think the Brewers bringing in Jesse Winker and William Contreras were really sneaky good additions to the lineup, and their pitching's still going to be effective. Corbin Burns is on a contract here, so he's going to play out of his mind, and he's probably going to get paid a bunch of money somewhere else. And the Brewers in second, and Cardinals in first. That's probably my prediction.
I would agree with that. It has one huge caveat, man. Cardinals pitching could tank this whole thing. Because the Brewers pitching is still the best in the division. I don't think you can argue that at all. The rest of it feels like all patchwork and hoping it holds together enough and your offense puts up just enough to take some pressure off the pitching staff that's patchwork and you find your way through unless you can find help mid-year, which we know Cardinals have had to do several years in a row. Rich Hill, they've already got his number reserved in the Cardinals jersey. But Braden, before you get off here, I wanted to say, look, Pete and I talked about it here at the front of the show. We're both very happy for you and getting an acceptance letter. Not just that, getting a scholarship as well. That's fantastic. I don't know that I would have been able to spell scholarship in any classroom spelling bee when I was in high school, or academic for that matter. But you took school a lot differently than I did when I was in, thankfully. And so I couldn't be more proud of you carrying the GPA you did throughout the whole time. And then, gosh, I never got a letter like that. I got a letter saying, hey, we'll let you walk on the team. We'll let you try to walk on the team, but you're paying for it, that kind of thing. So extremely proud. And you got, you didn't see it, but Ackerman sent me a message saying awesome. About
That's
your,
cool.
Yeah, and then Anthony Stalter retweeted too from ESPN that about he had a conversation with you, and that's pretty cool, man. That was, I know it was your birthday, but I think it was the best birthday present your parents could have possibly gotten on your birthday, and that was just the news of just the result of all your hard work. So proud of you, bud.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm still filling out even more scholarships and stuff like that, but so it's exciting. It's pretty cool, but yeah, I'm just trying to get that, that number shrink from, total tuition. I was messaging one of my friends who graduated last year who goes there. He was saying it's about roughly 80-some thousand for 4 years, and I got that number down to 48,000. If I'm just trying to
got fingers in there, not listening. So. No, it doesn't matter, but I'm glad that you've kind of found your own, you've earned your way in, and I couldn't be more proud. And so, yeah, that's that, man. Other than that, the only other thoughts he has is, Twitter and Facebook are going to melt down if Jordan Walker doesn't hit 650 in the first 2 weeks.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, that's what Cubs fans expect. So,
I gotta say, going with the recent theme here lately, Pete, St. Louis City, MLS, 2-0. 2-0. I watched the game last week. They won their home opener. Now, they built that stadium. It was only 22.5, but they built it for soccer specifically. Something tells me that if they have a halfway decent year, they're going to be like, son of a bitch, why did we not go for that 35,000 seat proposal? Why did we not do that? But really fun game to watch on TV, and god damn it, if that's one thing I don't regret, that if I would have lived a little bit closer, it definitely would have been something I would have loved to have seen. But a good game. They were playing my transplant hometown team here is Charlotte. They got down 1-0 but came back and won it. It was fun, man. I mean, I've had the most fun in those first two games of MLS than I have a lot of sporting events I could ever remember. Definitely doesn't measure up to playoff and World Series baseball that I've watched, but still, man, pretty cool. Enough to get me to throw down the $12.99 for the MLS pass this month to try it out.
Well, if you find yourself up here later in the year, maybe we'll go and we'll catch a game.
Yeah, I would love it. I never had followed soccer closely. I've always watched the World Cup when the U.S. was in it. Played a little, call it rec league, beer belly league soccer when I was in Bloomington. But so I understand it just enough. But yeah, this is fun, man. I guess I'm, looking at the way the city who had never had professional soccer supported it on night one. Man, that doesn't seem like like opening day in Montreal was always packed, and then by the second or third week, it was 13,000 people in the seats. This is not going to be that. This is something that's going to be here to stay. So yeah, MLS, man, I am become a big fan, and I wish I could walk somewhere and buy a hat, shirt, jersey, and instead I got to order that shit online at some point.
Someday.
It's the only thing that sucks about living in North Carolina, right? Many things suck about living out here, but that's one of them, is not being close enough to family there, and then not being close enough to St. Louis.
I hear you. We're coming up on an hour, sir. I don't know that there's anything more we need to cover, is there? It's kind of a potpourri as we slog our way through spring training. I think things will start to become a little clearer probably next week.
Well, we did better this year at this time than we did our first year at this time, which was what do we do? Like, all the free agency stuff at that point in time was done by the time you hit January, and there was literally nothing except some lame spring training games that you couldn't really talk about because you only saw your team for an inning, 3 innings, and then a bunch of guys who you've never seen before playing after that, which is typically, it's how it's still going. But our buddy, we'll give him a pass tonight. I guess when your brother gets married, it's probably an event you have to attend.
I mean, I don't know.
But is he going to have is there going to be something like, I feel like with Elliott, there's always going to be something like this, right? Like,
yes, there is. I think you're right. There's always an excuse.
Always something. You know, there's people in your life where you just look at them and you're like, God damn it, there's always something with you.
Elliot's our guy.
He is. And I hope he listens in or watches and sees this beautiful logo. I'm going to switch the Libsyn logo over to this for at least 1 week.
For this week's podcast.
We can change it.
Yeah, we can.
Done.
I think you should.
Done. I have to work from home tomorrow. They're moving our offices around. We're not supposed to go into the office. So I got a lunchtime.
Not your fault.
Nope. You forced us into this, Elliot.
That's right.
Forced our hand. Had to go back to an old JPEG. Thanks a lot, buddy.
I don't know. It's a pretty good JPEG.
It is a good JPEG.
All right. Well, we will be back next week. The 2 weeks after that, I don't know. We're going to have to work that one out because I'm going to be on the road, but I should be back in my hotel rooms during those 2 weeks.
Well, if it was a hard commit, I'd probably be doing it by myself.
Okay.
Something tells me I'd probably be doing it by myself.
We'll figure it out.
In that case, that'll just be one big red logo.
There you go. Big red middle finger. Now the 23rd and the 30th, we'll see. Anyway, and I know that's a big if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to comment and subscribe. And if you want to help spread the word, please give us a 5-star review and tell your friends to do the same. We're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever else you listen to podcasts, as well as Rumble, Facebook, and YouTube. Be sure to check out the other Gateway City Sports Network podcasts, including the Derek King Sports Show, That's a Winner podcast, Talking Sports in the Bleachers with Don Glenn, and 2 for 3 with Moose Michaels. You can find Braden on social media. He's not entirely sure. You can find him at the University of Illinois next year. That's what's important. And you can find Sarah apparently somewhere on a boat in Palm Beach, Florida, maybe hanging out with the former president. Find Elliot on Twitter at TOR_Elliot. And you can find Ron at TOR_Ron75. Yes. That's it. Get in touch with us at the show at teamrivalspodcast.com or on any social media channel at Team Rivals Pod. Ron, it's been a pleasure.
It has been.
Throwback. Maybe next time we'll have some Malort to go with the show.
Oh, that would be good. Some good old Malort. Chill it a little bit this time. I don't want it warm. I want it a little bit chilled. I think about 48 degrees. I think that'll go down.
Works for me.
Go down a lot better. And for those of you that are only absorbing the audio version of this tonight, the only unfortunate thing is you missed Pete in a bow tie looking like Sigmund Freud. More
John
so than
Mazalak.
I don't know.
Why I'm so comfortable and confident.
The vest does not scream John Mazalak. A pullover, and a cup of Starbucks, and you're right there.
That a little better?
It's a little bit better.
A little closer to the mark. Got it.
You got a cardigan you can quickly tie up and throw around your shoulder?
I do not have a cardigan. I have a pullover, no cardigan. I haven't had a cardigan since the 90s.
Yeah, we'll try. All right. Thanks for walking us out, Pete. Enjoyable week again without Elliot. We may have to do it again next week.
We probably will.
Maybe we'll have to find him a reason. But all right. So until next week.
There's always something.
There's always something. That guy, there's always something with that guy. All right. We love you all so much. We'll talk to you again soon, everyone. Bye-bye.